wonderful news. Just after Emma arrived home, she was surprised to see Harriet walk through the door.
Well, Emma, have you heard about Frank and Jane?
Asked Harriet excitedly.
You know?
Said Emma, looking surprised.
Yes, Mr. Weston has just told me. I didn't know that they were engaged. Isn't it exciting?
Replied Harriet, smiling. Emma was confused. Why was Harriet so cheerful?
Harriet, I don't understand. I thought that you would be upset to hear this news. I thought, well, that you and Frank... What do you mean, Emma?
Asked Harriet.
You don't think that I'm interested in Frank, do you? You know who I like. I know that he is much older and richer than me, but you told me that perhaps he was the man for me.
Harriet, cried Emma.
You don't mean Mr. Knightley, do you? Why, yes, of course I do,
replied Harriet.
But when we talked of it, I thought that you meant Frank, because he rescued you from the gypsies,
said Emma.
Of course I didn't mean Frank, Emma. I was talking about Mr. Knightley. Don't you remember how he rescued me at the ball?
Said Harriet, looking surprised.
And since then, he has been so kind and attentive to me. I am sure that he feels the same about me as I feel about him.
Emma remembered seeing them together at Donwell Abbey and again at Hartfield after her visit to Miss Bates. Why did she not notice that Harriet was in love with him before?
And perhaps Mr. Knightley really loves Harriet,
she thought unhappily. It was all too much for Emma. The idea of Harriet and Mr. Knightley being in love and perhaps marrying. Mr. Knightley was her special friend. She could not think of him with Harriet. Then Emma suddenly realized something.
I never knew it until now, but I believe I am in love with Mr. Knightley,
she thought in surprise.
Oh, this is terrible. What shall I do? I now realize how vain and selfish I have been,
she thought.
All this time, I have tried to find Harriet a husband, and I never thought about what she wanted. First, I stopped her from marrying Mr. Martin. Then I wanted her to marry Mr. Elton. And finally, I decided that she loved Frank. I always thought I knew best.